The Cleveland Browns quietly make a move that upgrades their defense. We'll talk all about it. If you're new to the channel, we are Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel talking about teams that get overlooked by the national media. Browns are a perfect example of that. It seems like the media is always talking about other teams, but the Lions, Browns, very similar. So we enjoy talking about the Browns. Okay, we'll get into the move that they made. Plus, we'll look at some of the big takeaways from the league meeting. Andrew Berry's there, gave some good insight on some things that are happening as we get through the first wave of free agency and then move into the draft. So here's the move that kind of maybe went unnoticed, and that is the Browns are bringing back a key veteran for their secondary, Rodney McLeod. Now, the thing about him is he sustained a biceps injury and was put on IR and ended his season right around Thanksgiving. So he is one of these guys, one of many on the Cleveland Browns roster that was lost for the season. So the Browns, it's like they're acquiring even more players than they're acquiring because they're getting all these guys back from injury. So I know they don't have a first round pick. I know they don't have a ton of money to spend, but they've made a really good trade for Jerry Jeudy. They're getting all these guys back from injury, and Rodney McLeod is a great veteran presence, 13 NFL season. He's played 166 games with 143 starts with different franchises. He's got 700 tackles. So this is a veteran, stabilize the defense type of guy that will come back and be a great depth piece, but also knows Jim Schwartz's defense, knows how to operate in it. He was with Jim Schwartz when he was with the Eagles. So we did a video on Rodney McLeod just being the perfect piece, veteran piece for the Cleveland Browns. And so he's a guy that gets re-signed, and you forgot that he is basically didn't forget he was on the team, but kind of, because it's like, oh yeah, he's going to be coming back from injury. Like, that's huge. So you've got all these guys coming back. You can look down here at the guys that were signed. Jameis Winston, we'll get into that one as well, but Cade York, Foreman, like every signing is just like, that makes sense. And it's not break the bank, and everything looks good there. So let's take a look at what Andrew Berry said when he was at the league meetings here down in Florida. He talked about giving Jerry Jeudy a 3-year extension. And I just think just remember that the cap always goes up, contracts always go up. So in one sense, you don't want to give a player a locked in 5-year deal and you're locked into a contract. In another sense, you kind of do, right? Because then you're locked in $15 million a year. And then in just a couple more years, that same player is getting $24 million a year, right? Or whatever that is. So you kind of want to lock guys in when you can, a la Patrick Mahomes. Remember, he signs that huge deal, 10-year, $500 million a year, $400 million deal, whatever it was. Well, now you extrapolate that out. You see guys are now getting, Joe Burrow gets $55 million a year. Patrick Mahomes is at $45 million a year. $50 million. And that'll just keep, so they locked him in. So now as the next quarterback's due up, he's going to get 57. The next guy's going to, and it just keeps going up from there. So here's what he said. In Jerry's case, you already saw 2 receiver contracts enter the market that really are harbingers of things to come in the market. Probably by week 1 of the NFL season, the top market's going to be north of 30 million. That's where Tyreek Hill is. That's where the top guys are just going 25, 30 million. So if you can get an elite separator with the size, young, locked in, it's great. And so the Browns have operated in. So he says, hey, Berry says that he believes one of their competitive advantages has been their philosophy around contract management, the ideology focusing on being proactive instead of reactive in market dynamics. That's what I was just talking about. Let's go give him the deal, and then the contract, and then the salary cap will go up. They did this with Myles Garrett and Amari Cooper. Love that. Next one, talked about the 2024 draft and how there's a big gap between the 3rd round pick and the 4th round pick. So the potential for movement isn't off the table, but it isn't top of mind. fine, right? So you don't really have a lot of ammo to go up or down. You don't have a first round pick, so you don't really want to go back too much more. You want to pick in the second and third, but you could gain some more picks if you do go back here from 54 to 60, whatever that might be, or 85 to 95. You could maybe grab another 6th round pick or 7th round pick. But if you're the Browns, you're getting, I just can't stress enough, you're getting all those injured players back. That, don't forget about them coming back. And then you hold the 54th and 85th pick. So you have 2 picks in the top 100. Fine, right? Obviously, you'd love to have more, but considering the trades that were made, you have a franchise quarterback, you've got the coach, you've got the defense. This isn't the worst thing in the world. And I think if you're a Browns fan, you've got to be excited about that. Next one. This is what I was talking about earlier, the return of free agents. Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris, Maurice Hurst. These are guys that were lost for the season. Maurice Hurst is one that just hasn't been able to put it together. If he ever does one year, it'd be perfect. Rodney McLeod, we talked about. So these are guys that have been in the system. They know what's going on. They've been in the building. They want to come back. So Barry said, I think once your roster becomes more mature and you have established core, the balance will lean more retention than maybe external signings. So it's exciting and fun to get the external signings, but as a reminder, that you want to be just getting your own guys back because they know what's going on. You want to get them back. And so I love that. And then Stefanski was asked about basically bringing in Jameis versus re-signing Joe Flacco. And I thought it was interesting. I think everybody was a little surprised when Joe Flacco didn't come back. He was the NFL comeback player of the year. Joe Flacco led him to the playoffs, like all good. He still wants to play, but instead they go for somebody else. And I think it's pretty simple. He's 39 years old. You can get Winston, though he's a goofball beyond belief. I mean, he's just a goof. He's a good quarterback. And he's like, he's like a solid backup quarterback that it's like, all right, fine. So I don't hate the Jameis Winston move just because he is younger and you can keep him for a year, 2, 3, 4. Maybe just he settles in as your backup quarterback for years to come. I get why people are like, why don't we just bring Flacco back? It's easy. But if you can look past Winston being a goofball, he's a solid backup. I mean, like there's not a big difference there. I don't think there is. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you've watched our videos for any length of time and you haven't subscribed, we would love if you hit that subscribe button. And if you're new, hang out a little bit, watch a few more videos and decide from there. And we'll see all of you on the next one.